Hey, True Nature Medicine Tribe with Sarah Jane, and I am really happy to be broadcasting. I might lose you, and it's a little bit dark. I'm sitting in the car. We've just had the most incredible flash flood. The rain is bucketing down, the thunder is booming, the lightning is going, and I'm just so grateful that we've had a ton of rain in the last couple of days. Apparently the dams are filling up really nicely. Now all we need to do is move it to Cape Town and all the other areas that are really dry, so that they can just regenerate and fill the land up and the dams up again and grow new seeds. So I can't believe it's been a couple of days since I actually did a Facebook Live. I've had a really crazy week, and I'm wondering how you started marching into March, or if you even got a chance to catch your breath, and to just lean in and know that we're in the third month. We're in the next, almost coming out of the next 90 days, the first 90-day cycle of the year, and how many distractions are actually around. So I never know what I'm going to talk about, but thank you for the thumbs, whoever you are. Hey Christine, thank you for the love. Thank you for always joining me. Send me some hearts, send me some love, and let me know, what's going on in your life, and what you would like to hear more about. And I've had this sort of burning desire to share a little insight on what I've sort of seen going on in the industry of life transformation, of coaching, of mentoring, and how much it's changing, and the contrast between the old sort of masculine paradigm that I kind of saw still operating and very well alive and kicking on the weekend, and then some of my other incredible friends and community that are really focusing, hi Colleen, on how to create great conscious business. And I was reading something the other day about how, I can't remember where it was, I think it was on Deloitte's, but how they were saying that successful leaders, CEOs, people that are really driving movements, and not from a place of force, but this sort of more gentle, feminine aspect, have an emotional quotient that's twice as high as their intelligent quotient. And I'm like, well, yeah, because if you're not touched into other people and their desires and their needs, it would be a little hard to cognitively force them from a mental aspect alone. We're bigger than our minds. Yes, our minds are there, but I kind of equate it to, we're driving our lives with this sort of rider, and our body is this magnificent, beautiful, multi-sensory horse, and we're trying to force this big, beautiful, powerful beast from a mind, rather than tuning into what is required. And that we need empathy, we need emotional touch, right? We have to have that intuitive part of our work, especially now in an age of tech, where I don't know about you, but yes, everything's going tech. Yes, everything's going into automating this and automating your funnels, and that for me, I starve from the personal touch of actually reaching a living human being that has thoughts and feelings and desires on the other side of a phone or eye to eye. And yes, we can't do everything ourselves, and yes, it makes it a lot simpler to automate and systematize some of your business. But if you aren't reaching out and touching people first, none of the other stuff works. And this is why in my work, it doesn't matter what people come to ask me to support them with, whether it is 10 times in their businesses, whether it's getting clear on their stories, whether it is finance or relationship. If we don't sort the money, the mindset part out, nothing else works. And that's the 4 levels of commitment that I always talk about. That yes, there's the mental part, but there's the emotional part. There is the physical part. Without the body, which is to me the number one priority, is you have to nurture and look after your horse. If you're not looking after your body, you can't go where you need to go. Your body is how you get to have the adventures in your life. And of course, all of it builds into financial commitment as well. And you know, this whole thing around tech, and I've been looking at this myself. It's like I'm always looking for more flow. I'm always looking for how can I simplify my lives? How can I make things simpler for my clients? And it's pretty confusing out there. I don't know if you found that, but I'm finding it really overwhelming at the moment, because it's the time everybody's like pushing their programs and pushing their funnels, and then people are saying, oh, you need to reverse your funnel, and that this doesn't work for that, and that doesn't work for that, and a lot of my back-end subscriptions are up for renewal. And I was kind of like, hold on a second, what is it that I really need to put my energy and my focus into? And for me right now, it's really about building more high touch, more community. And I think Jack Cornfield said that, and I love that, because it was just the information that I needed when I was about to look at all this investment in the back end, and that it's actually taking me further away from how I want to show up in the world, and how I want to create some kind of meaningful contribution to the people that are looking for what I have to offer. And he said that, you know, that it's a very dangerous place right now to look at, you know, that we've almost reached like this tipping point. In fact, I didn't even know it was Jack Cornfield. I think it was someone else, but that we're reaching this tipping point, and I've been feeling it for a while, that everything that you look at is going into how do I get people's attention? How do I trigger their feelings? And the media and Facebook and all these distractions that we have, because we have this little phone that's actually becoming like the latest version of crack cocaine, and it goes across all of the age groups. You know, it's affecting everybody's attention, and we're feeling so pulled and rushed. And I think it's because we're spending so much time in other people's businesses, and the media is triggering you to react. It's triggering your emotions to get your attention, so that you go into a place where they can really manipulate you. And I'd like that to change. You know, I saw this on the weekend at this event, where it's very much that old model of me, follow me. I'm the guru. I know I have $1 million watch, and I need a bodyguard that has 2 guns because I'm so important, and if you want what I want, you need to follow me, and you need to do it my way, and this is how it's going to look. And getting back to this event, and I think getting back to how I've sort of been feeling with all this information and all my, you know, being bombarded with everywhere you look, of, you know, Facebook ads and barrages of automated emails like coming one after the other. It's just too much, and our brain just wants to shut down. And I think it's very dangerous for our brain to be bombarded with that all the time. And if any of you know my history, that's something I'm really aware of, is my own mental chatter, my own inner saboteurs, my own blocks and stops in the past almost killed me 15 years ago. And I had a huge brain tumor in my head, and it took me a while to actually see the gift in it, that wow, what a brilliant way for my body to get me out of my head. Let's create a brain tumor so that you actually can't even think about anything, that you actually just have to come back into being fully embodied. And it was a big wake-up call for me. And you know, I really think that this is the time, and I'm really excited about this, where we're moving into that feminine economy of how can I connect with dedicated, committed contributors, right? It's a collective of, the more I celebrate, the more I see results, the more my clients earn, the more success, the more happiness that they have, the more I tap into living into my legacy, and it's a win-win. And I'm tired. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of seeing this manipulation going on in places where people are so desperate for connection. They're so desperate to be part of a movement that's bigger than them, where they actually get some relief from all of this magnification of uncertainty that, you know, if I don't do this, and if I don't invest in this, and if I don't do it this way, and if I don't do what, you know, what all the big gurus and the leaders are telling me to do, I'm not going to be enough. And I'm been trying to write a blog since for the last 2 days about this, and also Tony Robbins' new book, Unshakable, because I love that. It's like things have been shaken up right now, and he's you know, he's a great guy, but he's never said follow me, right? People, we always get to choose who we follow, and that's great as long as we don't give ourselves up in trusting what we know that we know that we know. And I just think that the sooner that we get that we don't have to do it all ourselves, that it's okay to ask for help, and we do more from this place of we. How can we go further? Well, we go further together. We thrive, we belong, we feel connected when we have tribe. And everybody brings their beautiful talents and capacities and gifts, and together we go so much further. And I want that, you know. I want everybody that is aligned with what I stand for to really start to make decisions from feeling, not just the mind, but just feeling into the places of what do I stand for, what does move me. And to me, that's wisdom. That's that ancient wisdom, that place of just knowing what we see and feeling what we hear and speaking from that deepest place inside of you, that you know, regardless of what everybody else is telling you, regardless of what the industry standard is, regardless of what other people are doing. And trusting that, and knowing that you don't need to know, oh my goodness, someone just banged my car. You don't need to be anything other than who you are. And get your message out in the world and serve at your highest level of who you came here to be. You don't need anything else. Don't give yourself up trying to do things the way other people are doing it just because it looks like it's working. And I think I shared a post. I love Danielle Laporte. She's one of the women that I really aspire and regard as a huge catalyst and a huge contributor to my life. I've had the honor of hearing her speak at a couple of events. I've read all her books, and I love her truth bombs because it resonates with who I'm being. Hi, Veronique. And you know, she was talking about gullible authenticity and realistic authenticity, and I think this is a word that's become kind of like a buzzword out there. You know, everyone's talking about authenticity, everybody's talking about vulnerability, and yet nobody is, and I don't say nobody, but I'm generalizing again to what I saw happen on the weekend, is that nobody is courageous or brave enough to actually step into being authentic. You know, it's just like you have to belong to the Red Tie Brigade, or you have to, you know, have the cues to, and we're back into that ranking thing. And I had the privilege of talking to some beautiful young aspiring entrepreneurs on the breaks, and I was like, you know, what attracted you to this? And they were so caught up in the lights and the rah and the big the guru speak, that had absolutely nothing to do with the we. It was all about I. And knowing how it played out, it's like I want to be honest. I want people to be transparent, and there's no shame in saying that you don't know everything. You know, I'm willing to always say I don't know. I don't have all the answers to everything, but I know a lot about the areas of my own expertise based on my own story, so that I can tell my story with a whole heart. And that's why storytelling is such a huge part of my business, because I want people to tell their stories with a whole heart as the catalyst and the inspiration for other people to get it. And after one of the breaks, it was like kind of hustled upstairs, like there's like this upstairs area, and it was kind of like, yeah, you know what, it is about you, but it wasn't about me. And the guys that I was talking to all kind of shuffled in, and what's going on. And if you didn't know what was going on, if you didn't know the manipulation of this sort of rah-rah and getting people all high and in the spirit and in that sort of hypnotic trance of give me your credit card and pay me a shitload of money, you wouldn't know any better. And it was like, I was explaining to this one guy, and I'm not making anybody wrong, because you know what, if that works for you and you can sleep at night and that's okay, go for it. But I'm interested in more of you know, committing to more than just my needs and my what I want, and making it about me, and I'm more into the we. And there must have been like 30 people all of a sudden that were running on the stage, and there was all this big rah-rah music playing, and they were posing for the camera and holding a mic and turning the other way, and there were like people in the crowd saying clap now. You know, it's like the tunneled laughter on those old sitcoms that you used to see on television. And then the next minute, the same 25 all had their 2 seconds to run on stage, and they made everybody in the audience stand up, and they were playing this music and making people roar and carry on. And it all looked great. It was like, what was going on? It's like, don't ever give up your intuition and your awareness to look at what's really going on here under whatever this is, from a place of not very, I don't know, it just seemed dishonest. First of all, the people were paying to have their 2 minutes of fame, to get a photograph taken that looked like they'd made it, like they were speaking on a big stage, and they were famous, and that people were going to look at them because they had, you know, wow, this person must be important. So that false sense of I don't know, it just seems out of congruency for me. And it goes further than that too, because I heard that I heard a lot of things about how the underpinnings and the back end of creating this huge big multi-million event were actually run. And I've seen the opposite of that. I've seen people put on beautiful events that are all about the we, and I want that. I've put on events like that. You know, I want to give my clients that have got the results their 15 minutes to be able to talk and connect and tell people about you know, their successes and what they're here to contribute in the world. I'm not going to make them pay after they've paid me for a program that's, you know, cost them bent their credit card. I'm not going to then make them pay to have their 15 minutes of fame on a stage, as if that's the way to tell people that they've made it, when maybe they actually haven't even made it yet. I don't know, it just all feels a little bit yucky for me. And I'd like to change that, you know, and I just think that's the wisdom, that's the intuitive space where we can speak from the deepest place. We can do the truth bombs. We can start looking at it from a place that isn't manipulative, but a place of saying in full transparency, this is what I know, this is what I don't know. Let's go there together. You know, what do you know? And how can we do more from the we, and in serving the people that are looking for you and what you have to give to the world? I don't know if I'm making sense. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit, because there's a lot of emotion still coming up on that for me. But you know, I think I wanted to just say, be aware of what you believe, trust what you know above all. Just trust like you trust that if you smell a rat, ask more questions. And it's not about, you know, I always say, never blame, never shame, never justify, and don't make anybody wrong. But it's human nature to judge, right? It's totally human nature to judge, and that's okay, because I'm totally willing to be wrong. And I just know that I don't want that. So there's always a gift, and I just know that some of you amazing women that are on here, I've been to those events. Yeah, I know you have. Yeah. Yeah, and at the same time, I totally agree. You know, isn't that interesting? Yeah. So let me mute you. Let me threaten you with a lawsuit if you don't play nice. Hi, Anna Marie, another beautiful animal communicator. Nice to see you here. Yeah. It's almost like a misabuse of power, isn't it, Veronique? Yeah. And I'm not willing to, as Tony Robbins says, it's like we're unshakable, we're strong, powerful women, and I know that we're all in our own way and together changing the way that we create conscious business and how we show up in our highest vibration of service to people and animals, because we want a kinder, more beneficent way of creating business. And I'm not, I'm saying be willing to create, oh, there's a little bunny that just hopped around. Be willing to create a great business for yourself. Be willing to have the money, but not at the expense of selling your soul to the devil or being something that you're not, or it's, I don't know, it's just back to that manipulation. It's just, it just makes me also want to vomit, Veronique. And I don't know, I think that's where we can start to use technology, and that's the power of connections. News travels really, really fast, and I don't know, I think if you make it about the money and you make it about misabuse of power, it will kill your business in the end. And I think people are waking up to that. But when I see when I see people posting this stuff, it's just like, again, don't believe everything that you see. Trust what you know. Just because you see somebody standing, with a photo that that they look like a rock star and that they look like they've made it, and then they're telling you that they have, it's not necessarily the case. And I think that's where we need to come back to our hearts and celebrate for them. I'm really happy for people that are doing that, but I don't believe that it has to be all loud and noisy. And some of the most incredible, generous people that I've met, they don't have anything to prove, so they don't have to tell everybody that they need a bodyguard because they're wearing $1 million watch, or that they're so important that they need a cavalcade. They're just quiet and they just get on with it. And I think that's part of the challenge that we ran the other day is give something because you can, and give it anonymously, because your ego will scream and carry on about it because it wants the acknowledgement. And I think when you can give without having to prove to anybody that you have, it's a beautiful place. And animals really remind me of that all the time. They give us so generously, they're so patient, and they're the greatest teachers because of that. They're ever present, they're omnipresent, and they're always in the now. And they don't care about the color of your hair. They don't care what clothes you wear. They don't judge you on gender or social preference or anything. They're just like, I will hold that space for you. Oh, I just got the spotlight of someone's car in my face, and the rain has stopped. But yeah, what if we are changing the way that the old masculine paradigm runs? And I'm talking about the men as well, just to get more into harmony of the feminine and the masculine from a place of genuine authenticity and vulnerability, and speak from that place. Don't copy what you think is working. A lot of time, these big funnels, for example, as people say, you need a funnel and you need to do this, and yes, automation works, but don't ever lose touch of the people that you serve. I think technology can be really, really dangerous when we're not looking at that. So put your mobile phones away, reach out and touch somebody. I think that I'm done. I posted some more about fear and this book, this Unshakable book, So if you're on my mailing list, go get it. If you're not, I made an audio, so you don't even have to read all my verbiage, because most of you know I write really long mails because I have so much to share. But yeah, pay attention. Just pay attention to the small details that are happening, the subtle cues. Your body's giving you feedback all the time. Trust your body before you trust anything outside of you, because I don't know, but in my experience, those niggles, when I have pushed through it because I want what I want, and I think that I'm going to find it outside of that, if we don't get the internal dialogue, if we don't get the mindset and the resolution in our stories and our past traumas and our experience, it doesn't matter how many marketing things you buy, how great your funnel is, how amazing your coach is, none of it works. None of it works unless you go down into the shadows and we actually start talking about these things in a conscious conversation that empowers us to change the old paradigm. Hello, Kelly Heath. I'm so lucky. I'm the most amazing women in my circle. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Those triggers, they're there for a reason. And we have been so programmed out of listening to our own bodies and so programmed out of listening to our own intuition. And I just find the best way, calm and center and ground, and put your anchor back into, what do you know? Trust what you know. And if you're confused, you need more information. Ask for support. Ask for signs. Ask for symbols. And there's so many ways to do that. And if that's oracle cards for you, if that's spending time with horses like it is for me, or just grounding and meditating, or having an Epsom salt bath, or clearing the energetic sludge from all these EMFs and putting a blue light, what's that thing, a yellow light to get back in, or sleeping more, just look at it, because we just have to change the habits. We need to change the habits of what we're focusing on. So for me, one of the things that I do religiously or devoutly, or whatever you want to call it, ritualistically, is that first 30 minutes, the moment I open my eyes in the morning, I give attention to how I want my day, and I visualize that, and I write it down. I really, really write it down, my intention for the day. And I follow that so that I can stay tapped into my dreams and my big vision and my focus of who I'm here to be and who I'm becoming and who I want to show up in deeper service every day. And I don't touch my phone. At one stage I was really in that crack addiction of, first thing I used to get up. I didn't have my phone in my bedroom. I hadn't got that bad, I don't have EMFs in my bedroom. I practice really good sleep hygiene because I'm freaking insomniac most of the time, and it's hard enough to shut my brain down. But I used to go to the kitchen and make a coffee, and the first thing I do is go and start reading, get into other people's business on Facebook, and it's like, oh my God, doesn't it just suck so much time out of your day when you do that? And you can't be in your own business. You can't be focusing on your own dreams and your vision if you're in other people's business. And then you go into the comparison trap and you start looking at their lives and thinking about how your life sucks. So, it's not a really good way to get into appreciation for your wins and how lucky we are. I was just looking at a guy running as this rain came down, and just the simple gratitude of, oh my God, I'm so lucky I'm in a car and I'm dry and I'm not out there in the elements. It's just like those simple gifts and practices. So don't get sucked into other people's business. Best way to do that is set some hygiene, to stay out of all this media triggering marketing and all these places that are pulling your attention out of how you want to create your life into their business, so that you actually just ka-ching, and you're spending money on all these people's stuff, and you're just buying into more of that sort of uncertainty of, oh my God, geez, look at all these people and look how they're doing stuff, and maybe I do need this, and I've done that. I mean, how many of you have bought programs and packages and apps and freaking everything. I mean, I've bought so many things, you know, to help me make quicker banners, or help me do this quicker and that quicker. And all I do, that amount of technology just shuts me down, and I get more overwhelmed. And I've wasted so much money on all these things that promise to make my life simpler, that actually just make me feel worse about myself, and just lie there collecting dust in the old days when they used to be hard programs. But yeah, if you just find yourself being distracted, if you just start to feel a little bit of a ew, you might want to ask some questions about that. Get back into alignment with your own vision, and out of the fear. You know, it's like shut off all the crap that's making you feel anxious and uncertain. Trust what you know. Step into your vision, because that's the only way you get to create your own happiness, and you get out of the suffering cycle of exacerbating everything that's not working. It's like, look at what is working. Celebrate your gains, and use that 5-second rule. I can't remember the woman that wrote that book, but I love her, where, you know, it's like it works for a reason, because you're interrupting that pattern which gets you in the downward spiral. Is if you find yourself starting to get distracted by other people's business, or you want to start reaching for your phone, or reaching for a cookie, or, you know, tuning into Netflix and binge watching because things aren't looking the way that you'd like them to look, just get back into your own vision by interrupting the habit. And the best way to do that, and I cover this in my Out of the Blues program, which is all about resetting your nervous system, because again, until we actually reset those old fight, flight, freeze pattern, we keep getting triggered by the same thing. So we're looking for a root cause resolution. Start by noticing the feeling, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move, because your body then gets to somatically experience the moving away from it, where perhaps you were in freeze or shutdown or fight. Move your body physically. Do some chairs, wall sits, or go and do something different. Interrupt the pattern. Physically move, because when you do that, then you disrupt the thought, and then you can get back into your business. So honor the things that are important to you, please. The more you do that, the more confident you get in trusting what you know and creating your best life. So I think that was pretty long today, and I think I'm done, but I've missed you guys. Yeah, I was busy doing a shoot yesterday for something that I'm wanting to create. That was pretty scary for me. That turned out to be a beautiful day, and yeah, since Saturday, I've been in my own funk of again looking at what is going on. When are we going to sort of get to that place of critical mass where we're in that conscious field of intentional creativity, of how we're creating our lives, how we're shaping the future, not just of how we're living, but how humanity is going to either survive or decombust. And I had all those sort of visions of Clockwork Orange or Atlas Shrugged. I don't know if you've read Ayn Rand's book, and The Matrix of, really, are we losing our minds to technology? Are we giving up the power of intuitive thought and creation by making technology bigger than us? And how can we create the balance? So I'd love to know your comments and questions of that. And wherever you are, have a beautiful rest of the day. Let's go marching into May, into March. I can kind of see the dwarfs going hi ho, hi ho. Enjoy what you do as your joy of business as you go off to work. And what if work could be play, because you're really aligned in your truth, and you know that what you're doing matters, and that you are creating impact, and that you don't have to compromise or go out of integrity or out of alignment with your true nature and your calling, because that matters, right? And sometimes it doesn't always translate into money, but all your needs are met, and we are living abundant lives. So love you guys. Bye. Mwah.